Several times we've been asked how we know how to do renovation-y projects like the Dangerfield house. And the answer is this: we don't. We are pretty much winging it the majority of the time. If I had to guess, I think my husband and I were both brought up with the same mentality, even though it spans continents. We always joke that it's called a make-it-work mindset, but I actually think it's deeper. I grew up with parents barely making it financially, and he grew up in a war-torn country, each with parents trying to raise their family and survive in different ways. It's funny because if you read on the mommy blogs and such, there is almost a guilt of making sure you are constantly stopping and taking the time to teach your child every little thing. And don't get me wrong, there is a time for taking a 15-minute project and turning it into a 5-hour one-on-one instruction for life lessons. But sometimes there isn't. I didn't learn renovation by sitting side by side with my parents while they showed me the menagerie of their skills. And trust me, my parents' skills are astounding. They both put themselves with 6 kids through college by every sort of artesian talent they learned on the fly that you could think of. My mom owned a custom cake business, all those vintage cakes making a comeback. Yeah, my mom can do all that piping. She also made custom draperies. And my dad is an electrical engineer who can basically do anything with carpentry and wood imaginable. I'm talking turned wood ink pens to framing an entire home. He was once told by an art student in a gallery that he wasn't an artist when he was speaking about his pens, and I laughed at the absurdity, because hard times are what create art. My husband's parents ran a coffee roasting business when sanctions kept them from getting any basic goods, and they spent several nights with their 3 kids huddled in shelters waiting out firepower being dropped from the sky. They bartered with neighbors when the country's money went from being worth something to being worth less than a post-it note. I used to see other parents and think, man, they are so good at stopping what they are doing mid-task and turning it into a memory. It wasn't until I was much older that I realized ours flat out didn't have time to stop and have all those teachable moments. We are privileged in some ways, maybe not in others, to sit here on our phones and see glimpses into other people's lives, see their projects, see their ideas, learn from them. I actually have the time to watch because my parents didn't stop everything. They showed us by example something different because we could observe, and we saw it over and over and over. It was this grueling don't quit that you can make happy moments with nothing. It wasn't a how-to. They showed us a could-do. The fact of the matter is I am not a how-to mom either. Most would think a homeschool mom who went to art school that I would have all this patience and I would do all these awesome crafts, and let me tell you, I struggle. And I'm not really good at doing the crafts part. But I do try to pull those teachable moments because my parents have afforded me the privilege to be better with that exact same could-do attitude by example, even when they didn't know I was watching. I will say I am much better at taking breaks than they are though. So which one is right or wrong? I'm saying neither. As a mom of 9, we're all just trying our best out here with what we know. Give grace much and grow much. You need all walks in your tribe to reach great heights. We are all different parts of the body with different functions. But I will say the could-do attitude has saved me thousands over the years. And also, if I'm being honest, it's probably cost me a few times as well. However, that mentality has tracked me through everything. Life isn't getting easier. The example of could-do has probably served me more than any other lesson over the years.